Well, it's back to school in Florida. And if you see like a long yellow and black vehicle on the road, that is a school bus.
Ah,
no
right.
need to freak out.
Right.
No need to panic. No need to change your driving habits. Just be safe. And do not pass those buses when they have the stop arm out.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
they light up like a Christmas tree. There's no excuse for you to go by them.
I know a lot of buses now, they've got the cameras
They do,
attached
and it's
to them.
a big ticket. What is it? I think it's $195 if you get caught.
Yeah.
Hillsborough installed those, but the good news is you have a 30-day grace period to get used to these new penalties. But the whole point is, if you're going to do it, you're going to get caught.
I think that's a mistake. What I thought the school buses should have had instead was, when it comes to a complete stop, spikes roll out from each side.
If you roll over it,
Yes,
flat tires.
exactly.
So you get a fine and your flat tires.
Let me tell you what, people will stop if they see spikes roll out from underneath the school bus on either side. You will not have people passing that bus. I think that would be a more effective way. I don't know how practical that is, but I just thought that was a better
good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, here in Hillsborough, Pasco, and Pinellas counties, 430,000 students expected back in school, and many of them will have new cell phone restrictions. So no more sitting around doing TikTok videos in the bathroom. No more like watching your social media feeds while the teacher's trying to teach you 2 + 2.
You're not going to be an influencer. Give it up. It's not happening.
That's right. So the idea here, of course, is to provide an education with less distraction.
Yeah.
Now, there have been some complaints from parents saying they can't contact their kids while they're in school.
You don't need to contact your kid. When I was in school, if my mom needed to get a hold of me, she called the office, and then they put it over the loudspeaker to embarrass the hell out of me. Ryan Gorman, your mom is calling you. Come to the office. That's how it used to work.
That's right. Yeah, the old back in my day.
Yeah.
But, it's true, and there's no question that studies have shown that students do better when they're less distracted.
Mm-hmm.
And what's more distracting than having a phone in class where they're doing everything but paying attention to the lessons up on the whiteboard?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with kids having phones with them at school, because it's just a whole different world, and I get it, but it should not be out, period. And some of these schools, they have different policies where, in high school you can check it out during lunch or something like. I think it should be, you do not take that phone out during the school day for a couple different reasons, because they need a break from it all.
Right.
I think.
It's not just the distraction in the classroom or what it does to the teacher. It's also that, in general, kids just don't need to be attached to the phone all the time.
Exactly. I mean, we see it just in our habits. Sometimes it's hard to get through a TV show these days without reaching for my phone. It's crazy. We've got to get these kids out of the habit of constantly reaching for their phone. So I think it helps in that way. Now, what's going on down Broward is going back to school today. Miami-Dade's going back to school on Thursday.
And they're not allowed to have their cell phones. And that's just it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really the rule. Broward students will not be allowed to turn their cell phones or any Bluetooth devices on during school hours. Students can either turn their phones off or place them in airplane mode. And if family members need to contact the student, the district recommends reaching out to the school directly. So
That's
they're saying it right there.
Yeah.
You need to get a hold of your kid. You don't need to be texting them or calling them during the school day. If it's that much of an emergency, you can call.
That's a tougher policy than some of these school districts in the Tampa Bay area. I think that's the right policy.
It is.
You shouldn't take your phone out. And this way, you start doing these carve-outs, and they're going to take advantage, these kids. You give them an inch, they're going to take a mile.
Yeah, you make exceptions for this or that. They're all going to be on their phones. And I know some parents, because I brought up this discussion actually in the mom group that I'm in my neighborhood.
Oh, God. You got to let me see that mom group at some time. I can only imagine it gets discussed
so
in
much
there.
drama.
Yeah.
But some parents are upset because their kids are very dependent on the phone, and you can tell that these moms are used to having access to their kids, and my kid has this issue during the day, and I need to check on him or her.
They're not helping those parents.
I'm like, no wonder your kid has the anxiety because you're attached to them so much. So one of the concerns, though, is that will the phones be collected? Some of the teachers want to collect the phones when the kids walk into the classroom so that they know they're not on them, and then that leads to kids' phones getting stolen, and who's going to be responsible and all that. I'm like, Just have the kid leave it in their backpack.
Right, that's all. Just leave it in the backpack, and if it comes out, they're expelled.
Yeah,
I mean,
or the Breakfast Club.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it really isn't that hard, but the teachers and the administrators, I feel like they are really hungry for parental support in this. Like, you can't be battling the teacher over it. You got to tell your kid, no, you can't have your phone at school. You will survive.
Whose phone is going off here in the studio in the middle of our segment? Whose phone do I have to confiscate now? I heard there's some vibrate going on the counter.
There's my phone.
Chris, come on. See,
urgent bulletin.
I think one of the problems we've had is nobody wanted to be the adult. Nobody wanted to be the bad guy and say no phones in school. So it was this conversation with the parents and the students. And why are students having a say in this? Somebody needs to be the adult and just say no.
Yeah,
that's it.
I think,
or bring me in. I'll say no. I have no problem being the bad one.
It seems like we're moving in the right direction with it, especially like in Hillsborough County, where now it's no phones. Hopefully it continues to go that way and the kids don't rise up and overpower.
I think parents initially liked the idea of kids having phones in schools because then they could contact their kid at any time. If there was an emergency, the parents could get called. But it got to the point where they realized their kids weren't doing anything else.
Right.
Except
exactly.
playing on the phone.
Yeah, they're on social media. That's what they were doing. And they were bullying other kids on their phones during the day. And I think, too, this is one of those issues, one of the rare issues we have these days, which is really not political.
No, it's not. I don't care whether you like Trump or Kamala Harris. Your kid doesn't need to have a cell phone in school.
But how many issues do we see where really, it's pretty solid consensus, and it doesn't really break along ideological lines or anything like that. It's one of those issues that transcends politics, which you don't find very often.
Well, and kids aren't political, and they all behave the same way, which is they want to be on the screen 24/7.
Right, left or right, you want to be scrolling and sitting there and not doing your work in school.
Yeah. All right, Chris Trankman with today's top stories. Chris, thanks so much.
Thank you.